particular narrative. And secondly, I'm going to address the issue of, as adults or parents or the government, why should we put forward a narrative based on reality? Because if we pursue an unrealistic narrative, this will just make people unhappy. Now, the fundamental failure coming from their side of the house, ladies and gentlemen, is that they have mixed up a widespread narrative as a dominant narrative. As leader of opposition, I have clearly told you that even having this narrative as a paramount narrative, there are also coexisting narratives as exceptions. So existence of this narrative in tandem with other narratives is actually good, because as a mainstream, people can pursue a career with better academic achievement and pursue a better and more stable, successful career, which would provide them with various merits that we have told you. Now, the only example, the example coming from Tagai-kun was like mild Yankee, and like it's good. Actually, like I think they haven't really listened to my speech, because I have told you that this example exactly demonstrates why having this narrative is not so harmful. I've told you that they organize and come together because, as a family, maybe not as successful as astronauts, but they're still happy. Because a narrative, ladies and gentlemen, even if it's a widespread narrative, it always creates a counter-narrative. This is actually my example and not his. So we don't really think that, again, having this form of narrative actually would specifically discriminate or specifically narrows a form of success. The burden of proof of their side of the house, ladies and gentlemen, was with this premise, with this realistic premise, why do we have to eliminate this narrative which is beneficial, which they haven't really proved to you at all? With this being said, I'm going to move on to my second flashpoint, which is, as adults, why should we put forward a realistic narrative? So, the contention coming from their side of the house is that we can broaden career choices. They haven't really looked at the downside, which Mitsushi has told you, because we've made it clear that this is an unrealistic expansion of the horizon to an unrealistic extent. It may just go beyond the cliff, and people may fall off of this thing. The Fujisoda example, which Tagai-kun gave us, is actually a good counterfactual, because it's unusual to be, as a high school student, to be as a good professional chess player as he is. Most shogi players even struggle to become professionals. They stay in an organization called Shoreikai, and they are thrown out if they are not able to become a professional player. Some quit, and what they do afterwards is, one, they try to become an office worker, or two, they still simply have to drop out. What this implies, ladies and gentlemen, is that by having this narrative as a paramount career choice, which is realistic, we encourage people to make a conscious decision even when they try to pursue an unusual or unrealistic career path, because they have to understand that they're making this huge deviation from a stable life. That's an important part that they haven't really told you. Because we've clearly told you that preparation is important. And as I have raised in my POI, and as Mitsushi has engaged, negotiation and technical skills are taught in universities or high schools, for example. Being dismissive to this educational opportunity simply lets people fall. We have also taught you from member of opposition that education is the most inclusive and universally accessible option to rise in society. This happened to the Japanese Americans in the United States after World War II, or even before the Second World War. They have risen as a good minority because they have pursued education and didn't really try to become a funny actor or funny musician. For all those reasons, ladies and gentlemen, because we think that we should take reality into account, the motion should fall.